I'm going out to the clubs. I'm taken care of everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who I am because of my best friend, and because I was just going out all the time.
Yeah.
And I get pretty rowdy, you know, and so basically once he told me, he's like, you could make money promoting. So I started doing that on the side to the point where I was on Facebook all day.
Right.
Working on promotions, not working as a recruiter. And I got fired.
Oh, I'll get you your job. Just hang on one second.
I got fired and
Welcome back to the Scorpion Nest podcast. Today I have a true Chicago legend, Eric Boss, nightlife promoter, CMO of Aloha Construction, and mental health advocate, which we're going to get into. So, Eric, welcome to the show.
thank you for having me. I always get nervous when people refer to me as legend. I just feel it embarrasses me. And when I really think about it, I know I am.
Yeah.
You know, when I look back at my background, I mean, you have to be for doing something for 15 years, 20 years almost. So, but thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you figure if you've done something that long, you probably know more about it than most people do. So when you put it in that perspective, it's like you've earned that.
Yeah, you know, it's really funny you said that because I kind of got into a little conversation with someone, and I think when you're young, you think you just know everything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you don't realize that the older you get, that you do learn more and more. And he was just exhibiting things he was saying. I was just like, man, I'm like, you wouldn't be saying this if you had the background I had, if you had the experience.
Yeah.
You look at things a lot differently.
There's a growth chart, right?
Yes,
From
100%.
cockiness to quiet confidence.
Yeah.
It comes
Just
with
being
growth.
wise,
Yeah.
learning from experiences.
Well, for the folks that might not know you yet, I'd like to kind of touch on where you came from and how you got to kind of the meat and potatoes of your nightlife industry, and then we'll jump into the new stuff like
Awesome.
the CMO and the podcast and all that jazz. But let's set the foundation for the folks that don't know you yet.
Sure. So I think if I could go back, I did a lot of telemarketing jobs. I'd say up until between 20 to 23, 24. I sold home security systems to low-income families. I did Georgia Peach Care, which is like a Medicaid, where I was like a customer rep for them. Just all phone jobs. And it really got me, that's where I got a lot of experiences with communicating and sales, learning sales techniques. And you utilize that in nightlife and promotions. So after that, I went to DeVry. I have a bachelor's in science and bachelor's of science in network and communications management.
Okay.
Which is basically obsolete. It was obsolete 6 months after I had gotten it because technology keeps on changing, and I went there because a lot of people were making a lot of money once they graduated.
Yeah.
And at that time, but when I graduated, we had a recession, and you were laying off people in IT. So, to make my mom happy, I was still trying to find something in that arena.
Yeah.
And I found a job, not in IT, but finding people jobs in IT as a recruiter. I was a recruiter.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because they had a recruiter position open, and I had no experience, and they said they would let me be a junior recruiter kind of under another one, a really successful one. And I was blessed. I worked in the #1 office. This was a $2 billion firm, Fortune 100 company.
Wow.
And 3 of the top salespeople in the country were in our office.
It's a good place to land during a recession.
And I worked right under a woman that they called it managed services, where usually you're on a vendor list when you're working with a company like that. And it's like you have a chance out of 6, 7 vendors, 50 candidates to get people hired for jobs.
Yep.
I worked under one that had a managed service for Kraft Foods and Discover Financial. And we managed the entire help desk.
Wow.
So we did all the hiring, everything. So instead of me going against competition, my only competition were the people I submitted.
Right.
I had 4 people. One of them were getting hired.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you're going to win.
So at one time, I had over 100 people billing. Put it this way, 24, 25 years old. Back then, which is almost 20 years ago now, 6 figures was a lot. It's not anymore.
I just had this conversation with my little brother.
But I was making 6 figures my second year. So at 25, so it was really great. So I was a weekend warrior, and this is how we got into nightlife.
Yeah.
My friends, we used to go to clubs all the time, but we didn't go to the downtown clubs. I wasn't 21 yet. I mean, I wasn't. We didn't have. This is when on the come up, come up before I got the job. But my best friend Joey Jammarino, shout out Joey, he worked in the clubs, and so I met everyone through him. So as I was a recruiter, this is like 25 years old. I'm going out to the clubs. I'm taken care of everywhere. Yeah. Everyone knows who I am because of my best friend, and because I was just going out all the time.
Yeah.
And I get pretty rowdy, you know, and so basically once he told me, he's like, you could make money promoting. So I started doing that on the side to the point where I was on Facebook all day.
Right.
Working on promotions, not working as a recruiter, and I got fired.
Oh, I'll get you your job. Just hang on one second.
I got fired, and when that happened is when, in between that, I was working at. There was a point where I could book tables, and I had a password like at 3-4 different clubs, but at like 10 different clubs at one time.
That's a lot.
So I had a choice for people to wherever they wanted to celebrate their birthday, and that's what I would do. I would focus on Facebook and where you could get people's birthdays. I'd be messaging people, and every weekend I would have a couple hundred saying my name at different clubs, and then I would have anywhere from 5 to 10 different birthday parties booked all over different clubs.
Yeah.
So on the weekends I'd go and bounce around and
that's a busy schedule.
Yeah, it was fun though. I loved it. Still do love it. Obviously, I'm still doing it in a different form. But so my first job was a host at Crescendo, which is Electric Hotel now. That was 2011, and then after that, this is when I lost my job. That was 2013. That's when I was like, we were actually in the process of. This is before all the dating apps were big.
Yeah.
We thought of a website called nightlifeunite.com, where you could basically this is when Match.com was huge.
Yeah.
But the difference between our site was that you could either pick, you could basically choose a drop-down menu if you wanted just friends, dating, or just hookups.
Interesting.
Yeah, and back then, you could also distinguish between the genre of music they liked.
Okay.
So like, let's say like if someone likes country music, you're not going to be compatible with someone that loves rap, right?
Yeah.
So you could that way too. And then what we're going to implement, which we didn't have at the time, was video chat.
Right.
Back then, you didn't have that. This is I'm
the
totally
capabilities. 12, 13 years ago too, probably couldn't handle that.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought, where's the best place to really grow this site? And at that time, the mecca of nightlife was Vegas. It wasn't Miami.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I know some people in Vegas. I'm like, I'll do it. I just lost my job.
Yeah.
I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. And actually I did, but we were only seeing each other for only like a month or two. So it wasn't that serious.
Yeah.
And so I hit up one of my friends that I knew from out there. And I just happened to, and my roommate out there was the best. She was the best. She's a shout out Edible D, the happy chef. She's a famous cannabis chef.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. She's cooked for stars, DJs, you name it. She was on Netflix. Amazing person. She's basically me, the female form of me from a business.
Is she out in Vegas still, or?
No, she went in Puerto Rico. She's got her brand everywhere. She's a boss.
Yeah.
She's a G. And I learned, when we were in Vegas, a typical day is we would both wake up, we'd be pounding the computer, like at 8 a.m. and all day and night, me and her. And it was just a grindhouse. While people were in Vegas, they were at the pools all day and stuff like that. Like I could have done that too.
Sure.
And we both could have done that. And also I had a lot of clients too that I could have done it with, but I would always tell them like I really only do night because I needed that 10, 12 hours a day just to responding to messages, promoting.
Right.
You have to.
You could have convinced yourself that going to the pools and whatnot is like networking and you're like feeling like you're productive, but what you actually did probably built that foundation that led to
1,000%. All your habits are just going to build a better version of you in the future. 1,000%. And so Vegas was crushing it, loved it, but my dad got sick when I was out there. And at the time, my family is only my mom and my dad. And so at one time I found out he had diabetes. It was type 2, so it was manageable.
Yeah.
He had prostate cancer,
Oof.
but he beat that. He was in remission. And then he had dementia.
Oh my God.
Dementia just gets worse.
Yeah.
So I wanted to stay out there, but I couldn't. I just feel indebted to my parents, you know. And I came back. Luckily, I had a job at the Mid. When that clip you guys were talking about, I had a job as a promotions manager at the Mid. My salary was $25K, and I got commissions. But I made $25K in a couple weekends in Vegas. You know, it was so crazy going back to that. But I had to, and it was really great because that's when the Mid was huge.
Yeah,
and that was one of your questions that you sent me was about my highs in nightlife. My best times in nightlife industry were when I was a promotions manager at the Mid, and while the Mid was riding high, we opened Prism.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so I had a quasi dual role where I was promotions manager for both clubs. At one time I was managing 50 promoters for the Mid, and then when we opened up Prism, it was about 15. And my typical night is I would start off at the Mid, party over there, talk to everyone, you know, and do my job, and then I would hop over to Prism.
And how many promoters were you managing over there?
15.
So between the two, you're at what, 65 promoters?
Yeah.
Now, from someone who's not on that side of the table, that sounds like a lot of employees. Can you kind of dive into like how do promoters like get paid, or like why does it make sense to have so many promoters on the payroll?
Well, because at the end of the day, when the place is full, that's when more money is spent.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why there's a need for promoters, and we could pay a promoter whether it's anywhere from $5 back then to $8, $9, $10 a head. It's hard to really quantify. I mean, after you look at the bottom line at the end of the day, you can.
Yeah.
But if someone brings in a couple hundred people that week, and let's say you got to pay him out $500, $1,000, depending on, you can really dissect it, especially if that night a specific client came in and they spent like $5,000.
Yeah.
So, and that person probably wouldn't have spent that money if the club wasn't full.
Right.
And if all those girls that you brought weren't at his table. And you really can't prove that, but it's pretty much fact.
Right.
You know? So that's definitely why. What was the next part of your question?
So how does it make sense to have so many promoters? Is it because it's like a network thing? Like
strength in numbers.
The promoters know people, and the more people they know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how I work.
That's like an old school like sales funnel, right?
Yeah. What I do now too is I leverage others. You know, my DJs, I let DJs that have never played before in a club, they have never played downtown, I'll give them an opportunity to play at my party at a great club.
Yeah.
But you have to do this for me. And I go through my booking process. I have these templates that I use with every single DJ for the last. At one time, I had four. This is my system. I had four different parties at 4 different clubs, 4 nights a week.
Wow.
And all of them were full because of my system. And I would basically teach them all the stuff that I did as a promoter.
Yeah.
So now when you have all of them doing that, and then I'm telling them that part of what's going to be successful for you is once you have someone that says they're going to come, utilize them now too. See how they can help you. Will they post a flyer for you?
Do you think social and like digital media has helped or hurt the promoter game?
1,000% help for me because now sitting at home, I could reach thousands of people in minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas, back then you couldn't do that. It's definitely changed the game in a great way for that. But the downside is that the work ethic isn't there now. You still have to work.
Yeah.
And so now a lot of people aren't putting in that work, or they're not really thinking outside the box because, and a lot of it's just time and trial and error.
Sure.
Because I've been doing it for so long, I've tried doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Saw it didn't work.
Yeah.
Then I could try this. So that's where I found. But when social media came, and now that was my bread and, I mean, anyone that knows me knows that's my bread and butter.
Yeah. So a lot of the folks that are probably watching or listening aren't in the scene, right? They've been to a club, maybe they've worked with a promoter at one time or another, but can you talk to us a little bit about like the behind the scenes of like before the doors open, or like scheduling talent, like some of those behind the scenes things that like we might not see because all we see is, all right, great DJ, drinks are flowing, girls are here, we're having a great time, but I've thrown events, you've thrown events. You know how much work it takes to put on one single event.
Yeah.
The industry is doing this 3 to 4 nights a week, every single week.
Yeah.
So maybe you have some stories on like the behind the scenes there.
Well, I think I can only speak for myself, right? Because, and what I do is really different than what a lot of other people do. I mean, a lot of other people are doing it now, which is amazing. Focusing on the experience and having different experientials throughout the night, other than just a DJ, playing. And now I'll take House and Sushi, for instance. That party, I have a sushi girl. I have to find a girl that's willing to get painted topless or taped for an art activation in front of people. And luckily, it wasn't that hard. A lot of girls love doing it. It's a fun job. And I would order sushi from Sunda. I would order, I would have an artist, a different artist that week, almost every other week. So once it got a little bit tough, I was just scheduling one person for a month, because when I did No Tell Hotel, I was doing a different entertainer every week. So I had to simplify things, because it puts a lot of pressure on me, because I was never able to delegate the things that I do, because it's all up here.
Yeah.
If I could clone myself, I definitely would.
For sure.
But I can't have someone. That's what makes me unique, is the things that I do that are literally coming out of my head. And it's a lot of times it's at the moment. It's during the moment. I would walk around. I don't do this anymore, but I would walk around with my megaphone, basically entertaining.
Yeah.
I would be talking shit to some people, but getting laughs, and it's just a camaraderie. It was a hospitality
What strikes
thing.
you in the moment.
Yeah. And so no one else could do that. And so there's a lot of different moving pieces, because once I have all these different people booked for the party, there's been so many times where a couple hours before I'll have someone cancel, and then I'm frantic, so it's definitely a lot of things that people don't see. I would say, I'm on my phone so much for it. It's a lot of communication.
Yeah.
Because one thing that's lacks with the nightlife industry is communication. And sometimes there's a lot of problems that I have to solve just from that lack of communication.
Right.
And I over communicate. I think that's the number one thing. Like I said, from coming from a corporate background, you just see the difference in cultures.
Well, I do that too. I've had conversation with folks in the jewelry industry where I over communicate because of my training in the military. So as a helicopter pilot.
Oh, you're in the military? No.
Yeah.
I should do my homework about you, because I have no idea. So this is great.
Yeah, so I did 12 years in the Army. Most of it was as a helicopter pilot. And we're trained to communicate before you do anything. So before I flip a switch, I tell my crew I'm about to flip the switch.
Yeah.
Before you get out of the helicopter with these rotating fans above you, say that you're getting out of the helicopter. Like all of these things. So when I say
awesome.
I'm going here at this time at this place, same thing with you. Over communication can preemptively solve so many problems.
1000%.
But when other people don't do it, you're sitting over here like, I give you the respect and the time to like put in all this energy, and you're not giving it back to me. It gets very frustrating.
It is, but I've learned a long time ago that you can't have expectations.
No.
You cannot. And once you drop having expectations of any kind, you're free.
That's something I've had to get over recently, is expecting people to give back exactly what I give.
Anything.
And that's something I've talked with my therapist about.
Yeah.
And now that I've gotten over the fact of like expecting the same thing that I give, life's a lot easier. And I'm happy to be surprised when someone like shows up on time or does what they say they do. I like the simple things.
Yeah.
Which is
the things that are basically, they were normal before, expected, but now it's like, it's so crazy. Yeah.
So for your industry, and you're having to fight fires last minute, I'm sure you have backups to the backups and folders with systems and all these things. So and luckily we've got these cell phones with Google Drive and like all of these tools that make it a little bit easier to access that information.
For sure.
What are some of like the biggest fires you've had to put out that you've like successfully overcome? Like, do you have any things in mind?
I always overcome. It's one of the things I say to myself, like it always works out.
Yeah.
I always find a way, and it does, because I talk solutions, not struggles. I used to be the type where I would get frantic and have anxiety, and I would talk about what was going wrong more than trying to fix the problem.
Yeah.
More than trying to think of ways to either, you could prevent things. So if you think of ways to prevent things on the front end, you'll definitely you'll avoid some potential pitfalls. The worst things that happen to me throughout the night is when it's slower, and I get down on myself.
Yeah.
Even though when I look around, everyone's having the time of their lives. It's just I've set such a bar so high for myself now, and I've thrown over 400 parties in the last 4 years.
Yeah. No one's saying you're not credible and you're not the man, but inside, I mean, that's a whole nother topic. Is just our perception versus other people's perceptions.
And that's what we were talking about with mental health. I mean, it's a really big thing, and there's so many different facets, but that in particular, just kind of you're your own worst critic. And that's why I found being kind to yourself is the number one thing. Loving yourself is the number one thing.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to learn that skill.
You definitely have to learn it. It takes repetition. I've had to say, when you say something enough times, it's going to become a habit. And then it literally will become automatic, and then you will believe it. Because whatever you're feeling right now, whatever you're saying, it's from repetition.
Yeah.
And it might have been unconsciously, but it's definitely from, so you have to basically retrain your mind, or train it for with intention.
Right. I'm learning all of this stuff with my accountability coach this year.
That's awesome.
And the amount of data that our brains are bringing in, and for some reason we're wired to think negatively, it seems like 90% of our thoughts are negative, which is why it's so hard to rewire your brain to be positive.
Could take years. It may never be completely 100%.
Yeah.
But you got to fight it.
I think the first step is awareness. Like, just be aware
100%.
of your thoughts.
Yep.
I catch myself all day. I'm like, this is a made up story. Why am I thinking about this?
Think about
this
what you're thinking about.
It is massive undertaking, but necessary if you want to be your highest self.
100%. And just mental awareness alone, asking yourself why you said that. It's really analyzing your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And once you get to that point, now you could work strategically and recognize, that's not true, or I shouldn't be saying that. And I always feel like a lot of times those false things that we say, or those negative things we say, they're false, right? So why don't you say something positive, even if that's false? It feels better, than something negative that's false.
Exactly.
So might as well have belief instead of, doubt. And I just feel like it's really, like you said, it's thinking about what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Recognizing your thoughts.
Now, I think that's how you and I connected. Was I saw you posting about mental health, and I reached out and mentioned that, as a veteran, that's a big topic for me. Now, on the nightlife scene, do you see DJs or the talent that have struggled with mental health? Like, what kind of instances have you seen in your industry where you're like, this is like bigger than people think?
I feel like every person, no matter what, but the industry in general, it just says something about people that are indulging in nightlife on a regular basis, that says that maybe they're not in the right place.
Yeah.
Just in general. I mean, because if you think about it, if you have goals, if you have aspirations, if your priorities are really, really in line, you wouldn't be doing this as much.
Right.
So what I try to tell people now, my new message is that people are going to have their vices, and usually those vices are what makes life worth living a lot of times for a lot of people. So instead of, what's optimal would be to quit 100%, but that's not really realistic.
No.
What is realistic, what's sustainable, is that outside of those vices, that anytime that you're not partying or whatever your vice is, it could be gambling, or it doesn't matter what it is, that you are doing the things to be fulfilled, to be happy.
Right.
And for me, I have a list of them. Exercise, regular exercise. There's no doubt that does help you be mentally, physically, everything better.
Yep.
Eating better. The food that we eat has a direct effect on your feelings, on your, obviously your body, your physical, your health, everything.
Yes.
So when you do that, you become better in all those aspects of your life. Loving yourself, like we talked about, that's huge. Loving your job, what you do for work.
Yep.
You spend most of your life working. If you don't love what you do, you should get out of it like it's a burning house.
Yeah.
Because once you do find what you love to do, it's a different dynamic. It's a different mindset. It's a different life.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to work. I love my job. Even though there's bad times all the time in everything, every job. But I get past that, because of the thrill and the passion of what I do and of the job. Whereas, you could think back on jobs that you've had where you didn't feel like that, so there's just a huge difference. So that spending quality time with family, friends, family, loved ones, we do need connection, and especially with social media nowadays, we're connected to people, but we're not whatsoever.
Right.
It's wild.
You hit on a couple of very important topics that we talk about a lot on this podcast.
Yeah.
One being doing what you love. We have a lot of entrepreneurs on the show, and a lot of us have left corporate to pursue our passions, where we are happy to work 10 to 12 hours a day doing what we love, as opposed to hating what we do for 8 hours a day.
100%.
And it's such a different dynamic. Like, I would be happier living out of a cardboard box doing what I love at this point in my life than having a 9-to-5 consulting for 120K and just going through the grind. Like, it's just such a wild switch in your brain. And not everybody's wired for that.
But you also had to go through that to realize that.
Right.
And that's what sucks. But that's why I love doing a podcast too, because I feel like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, we didn't have these podcasts, people really talking about on such a level about mental health or about what we're talking about right now. So hopefully that this new generation, the ones that do watch this, the ones that do listen to it over and over, that will help maybe sway them. Instead of having to really go through 20 years and then figuring it out. Because that is the biggest thing. I wish that I could have the mentality that I have now in my 20s.
I mean, just looking back, you're like, damn, if I would have done this 10 years ago. But the economy was different, the technology was different, the environment was different. So the message to the viewers now and in the future is that you have choices. You can choose to do the 9-to-5. You can go to college. You can do what we were preached when we were young. But you can also be an entrepreneur. You can make a business with your cell phone and a couple $100 easier than ever. So at least try, especially when you're in your 20s.
At least try, yes.
When you're in your 20s, you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to risk. And you can fail 3, 4, 5 businesses, get to 30, and then be like, okay, well, that's not for me.
I love that you just brought that up, because this is one thing I want to advise people that are in their 20s right now. Because how old are you?
34.
Okay, you're 34. I'm 44. Something that we know now that they don't know, and you can't know, because while you're in your 20s, you can't look back on your life.
Right.
When you're in your 30s and you're in your 40s, you can look back in your life and actually segment. From 21 to 23, I did this, that, and that. From 24 to 27, I did this, that, and that.
Right.
Knowing that now, and knowing what I know now, I would have found what I love to do, 21, and from 21 to 24, like I'm doing right now, I'm 2.5 years in grinding, nonstop grind. My whole life, I've been a hard worker, but I've also partied. I've had girlfriends, so I'm like this. Now that I cut everything out, I'm going straight up.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, I wish, again, like we talked about. So that would be my advice. But even my advice right now, like, you can live your life, right? 21 to 24, you could do whatever you want. But if you want something more later in life, if you want to be financially secure with a family, it's more logical to take a couple years out and just grind. Just work on yourself, from personal perspective, from a professional, and just grind. And I guarantee you, in 2-3 years, whenever you decide to put yourself back in society, so to speak, not much is going to change. And a lot of the people they're not going to be anywhere close how far you are, whether it be financially, or you're just going to be in a lot better position if you do that.
There's so many things I want to touch on from what you just said. This is amazing. Most recently, so something military folk deal with all the time, whether it's deployments or moving across the country for a new station or whatever. I lived in Alabama for a year and a half to go to flight school, right?
Awesome.
What happens with the folks in the military is that they leave their friends, their family, their home behind for months, if not years at a time. They come back and their friends are like, hey, Tom, what's up? Nothing's new with me. And it's been how long? And it's like, nothing has changed.
It's a fact.
People don't visit you when you leave. They don't reach out to you when you leave. And they just expect that you come back the same because they've been the same.
Yeah.
And it is such a wild phenomenon to me that like most people just do the 9 to 5, they do their daily grind, and they're just existing and not living.
Yeah.
Second point I want to make is that people say that about like every 10 years or so, you kind of become a new version of yourself. So when you're pursuing your passion in your 20s, that doesn't mean that you're going to be passionate about it for the rest of your life.
Okay. I never heard that perspective.
But if you pursue your passions in your 20s and you make something, maybe you fail a business, maybe you make something pretty good.
Yeah.
You learn those skills to build something so that when you have a new passion in your 30s, you can leverage that to be better and not have to start from zero.
Yeah. You'll be a better version of yourself, more wise for sure.
Yeah. So all of these themes that are just like, take the shot, go for it. On the work ethic side, I'm afraid, and I hope to be proven wrong, that the younger generation are just either afraid to fail or that things are just so easy to access, whether it's Uber Eats or
it's both,
swiping for dating or whatever, that it's like, why would I work harder when I don't have to?
Yeah, it's both for sure.
Yeah. It's a very interesting environment that we're living in right now. And, I have a few friends from my business fraternity that I hope to have on the podcast soon. Shout out Bree Boss, that are grinding. They're making products. They're working the 9 to 5, and they're out there hustling.
Are they old souls?
A little bit, I would say.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good to see those examples because it's like not all is lost.
Well, nothing that motivates you more than money also. So like with whatever you're doing, if you start making money, and you're just going to keep doing it, especially if it's easy.
I can't go back.
Yeah.
So kind of back to like the mental health stuff and whatever, and you've been working for so long. Have you ever hit a point where you hit like burnout or had to like take a mental step back to just reset?
You know what? It's really funny. I would think that everyone would say yes, but not me. That's why I truly feel that I am born to do what I'm doing right now. Because I think one day I'm just going to drop. One day I'm going to say, and I think I can't say how I'm going to feel in a year from now and what might happen. But all I know is right now I'm exactly where I want to be. I love every minute of my life. And even the bad times, I get past them. I know what to say to myself. I know that they come. Bad times come your entire life.
Yeah.
What you have to do is master dealing with them. And once you do that, I said this on another podcast, your quality of life is dictated by your thoughts. And once you're able to basically master getting over negative thoughts, life is beautiful.
Yeah. I've gone through some thoughts recently about how they say an easy life is not a fulfilling life, where you have to go through some struggles to come out the other end. And it seems that you've gone through similar experiences where you have a fulfilling life because you've gone through adversity and you've come out the other side through your resiliency. And really, one of my favorite sayings that a lot of people from my early days will remember is success is a choice. So I'm going to choose, no matter what happens, to succeed.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to get easy things. You're going to get hard things. And I see folks nowadays that are just trying to live the easiest life possible. But at the end of the day, like, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered by, like, the person that just skated by, or do you want to go out there and live? Because, as you know, there are so many countries to visit. There are so many cultures to meet. There are so many foods to try and places to see. I mean, the world is so big and so beautiful that it would be almost a shame to not try as much as you can.
Yeah, and I Pearl Gonzalez, we had on my podcast, she said that Dana White, she learned from him that he says he loves challenge.
Yeah.
I do. I love challenge as well because I know I'm going to grow from it because I have the mindset that no matter what happens, I'm going to make it successful.
Yeah.
And failing, definitely, it's cliche, but failing is a part of it. And once you're able to deal with failure and you get right back up and go on to the next thing, life is so much easier.
Really, it's a mental game.
It's all mental.
Physical, you don't even know your limits because we've not even gotten to a point where you have to push past it and realize a new limit. Oh, I can lift 150 pounds. No, you can lift 160, so on and so forth. And that's one of the biggest gifts I think I got from the military is that they put you in the system where they set it up because they know you're going to fail. The whole break you down to build you up mantra.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they know that you can't do this, but they're going to make you do it anyways. That's
interesting. I never thought about that. That's
you
awesome.
can realize that you're going to go back to your bunk and you're going to try it the next day, and then you're going to actually succeed. And then your limits are higher and higher and higher.
Wow.
And you do that for...
I didn't know that was the methodology with that.
Yeah, I mean, think about basic training. You take a bunch of kids that are 18 years old from all across the country, different backgrounds and stuff. They all have their different perspectives, and you put them in this pot, and it's like, okay, you 60 young teenagers, you're going to go do this, and you're all going to fail. Nobody's better than anybody else in this group. And then the next day, maybe they set it up so that some of you can succeed. You build that teamwork, that mental resiliency. I mean,
that is amazing.
That
just really blew my mind. I never really thought about that.
Because you can take that skill through life, business,
1,000%,
corporate, marketing, whatever it is. And now I know, like, okay, I'm probably going to fail. And that's okay.
I welcome it because I know that when I fail, I'm growing because I have the mindset that I'm going to grow from it. Some people don't. Some people fail and they continue to fail over and over and over and never progress. That's sad, but it is what it comes down to. And I say this every podcast, every conversation about mental health. I want it on my tombstone. It all comes down to the things we say to ourselves and our perspectives. No matter what you're going through in life, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I used these skills, a year or two ago. You know, I'm like 32, and TikTok's blowing up, and Instagram's blowing up, and I'm like not a content creator at this point. But I had to choose to try. Make a reel, figure out how to make a reel, because you're consuming all this content. You're like, these guys are so good. Like, I'll never be that good. These podcasts are awesome.
But you
I'll
get
never
better
be like
with,
But you need to take the first step. And now here we are. We've got 13 episodes of the podcast. People are coming up to me like,
awesome.
Oh, how do you make these reels? How do you do this? And I can tell them because I did it by myself. I went through and I learned and I failed. And now I'm succeeding, even though, like, I'm not happy with how my reels look. I'm like,
I know how that is.
I want it to look like that. I want it to look that. I don't have the money to hire this person, but other people are looking at it. They're this looks so good.
That's amazing. It's a great feeling for sure.
Yeah, it feels amazing, and it only came because I tried, failed, succeeded.
And the first thing, actually, if we're going to really dissect it and peel it back, the first thing was you having that thought, right? And then actually taking that leap, the intention. Because you have to first, number one, just think about it, and then you have to put the action to those thoughts. And again, a lot of times people don't even have that ability to actually make that first move.
Right. I find that most people fall into two categories in life. They either play to win or they play to not lose. And I'm a play to win guy.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm willing to take the risk and maybe lose a little bit if the payoff's greater. Other people are like, oh, I can't lose my resources. Oh, I can't risk failure because
for sure.
Then my social status might change, or I might lose a couple dollars here or there. But I think people fall into one of two categories like that.
And like you just said, it's either attributed to either what they say to themselves or what their perspective is.
Yeah. So you're meeting a bunch of people, you're having plenty of conversations, partying and stuff. After the party's over and maybe the fuzz goes away and you get your clarity back and stuff, have you ever like had a talk with a boss or a promoter or a DJ or something and you're like, we need to talk about this? Like maybe an event happened or a new venture was going to take place, but some of those really like important conversations that you had after like a really great night?
Well, so we're talking from a mental health perspective? We're talking business?
Let's do like business.
Wow. I mean, I do it all the time just because I've been a manager at so many different places. I was a manager at Electric Hotel. I was a manager at Underground, the Mid, Prism, Mansion on Rush. So I've seen so many different cultures, different people. And I try to optimize everything. And so when I see inefficiencies, I'm the first one to say it. If you were working at Mansion on Rush when I was there and I was on the radio, I was directing everyone. I was a general with the security, because when I would see things that were obviously wrong or not good for, I'm always big on hospitality. I'm always big on the customer safety, happiness, everything. And when I see people that are not, I'm passionate.
Yeah.
So a lot of times if other people aren't passionate, they're not going to have that same type of expectation or bar. I do. And if you're under my watch, I'm going to let you know about it. And I think I know a lot of people think I'm an asshole, but at the end of the day, my intentions are good. And what I also do too is that if I am maybe aggressive during the night, I have the ability to, at the end of the night, I will apologize.
Sure.
And I think that's a huge difference between ones that do that, feel bad about it after, and actually talk to you like a human, person to person, and then the ones that don't never say anything about it, and they're just an asshole.
Yeah.
You know,
there's similar situations in the military or training or whatever where certain things are time sensitive, and in order for you to get the message across to whoever you're relaying it to, you need to say it in a certain tone and a certain cadence for them to realize the urgency of the situation. And maybe it doesn't come off soft and nice and all got to pad it in the way that you like it delivered. But when the mission's over or the night's over, and like you said, you know, we come back together, it's like, okay, listen, I didn't intend to like hurt your feelings or make you feel a certain way. It just needed to happen. And I couldn't relay that to you strongly enough.
Exactly.
And it's not personal.
Well, here's actually one thing I just thought of, because it's hard for me to think of specific examples when you ask those questions.
Yeah.
But one I just thought of where at Mansion on Rush at the end of the night, our security would be getting people out. And there's a huge difference between yelling, everyone get out, or thank you guys, everyone have a great night, appreciate it, you got to get out of here. You know, like this, there's a total huge difference. And at the end of the night, first impression and last impression is what's most important. Yeah. And so if you're walking out of a venue and you're getting yelled at, that's how you leave, and you have a bad taste in your mouth. Yeah. But if the person's nice, you just get so much, what's that saying? Or you get more with sugar than, you know? And I've just always been the type where I'm always kind. And you don't know what someone's going through that day, that moment in particular, because they're under the influence most of the time. Right. So no matter how you communicate to someone, sometimes they're going to take it the wrong way. So there's no doubt that it's better to be nice. And you know, I'm always like this. You know, that's definitely it's very guard down, you know, and then someone yelling and screaming at you. So that was that was definitely one thing that's the only thing I can think of right now as far as for one of those times you're talking about. Yeah.
Two things. Number one, which you probably deal with a lot in your industry, is that you can't control how other people react to your message. Yes. And that's a hard thing for people to get over too. I've struggled with that expectations myself, is that I don't want you to feel this way when I tell it. I can't control that. Yep. Number two, I learned recently that the way, so like, let's say you have a message that you need to deliver 1 out of 10, it's like really bad. Like, hey, there's a fire in the building. You need to say there's a fire in the building with a lot of freaking energy and like urgency. Now, if you're using that there's a fire in the building energy to say, oh, somebody puked on the floor, you need to get out. There's a mismatch between the message and the delivery. So to your point, when you're at the end of the night and you're trying to keep people like happy and stuff, it's like, all right, thanks for coming. You know, let's start moving towards the door. There's a complete difference. And in aviation, we were taught to have like the late night DJ voice, no matter what, to keep the people in the back calm. So whatever our passengers are, all right, folks, you know, we're going to hit a little turbulence here, but nothing we can't handle. Meanwhile, the guys up front are like, okay, what do we do? All these bells are going on or whatever. So I find it fascinating, that communication aspect of like, how do you deliver a message and what that message is. You got to have the right match in tone and delivery.
For sure.
So let's move on to some of your newest ventures. You mentioned that you're CMO of Aloha Construction. Now, do you just network your way into that job, or like how do you get a C-suite level job?
Well, so like we talked about earlier, the CEO I went to high school with, Dave Farbicki, shout out Dave Farbicki. He went to high school with him, and he saw what I was doing in Nightlife as far as from a marketing perspective. And he said he wanted me to run marketing for his company, oversee we have 4 different companies, four different offices, 3 different companies. So there's Aloha Construction, which is in Lake Zurich and in Bloomington, Illinois.
Okay.
And it's roofing, siding, windows, doors. And then we have Community Exteriors, which is Indiana, which
Okay.
is the same exact thing, but in Indiana. And then we also have Aloha Restoration, which is it covers all damage for fire, smoke, water, mold, and we do home remodeling.
Okay, cool.
So I'm overseeing the marketing for all the entities, and it's great because it's what I love to do. It's my passion.
Yeah.
And I think the number one thing I love about the company as well is that Dave, he has 4 kids. He is an advocate for child trafficking awareness. We're going to be doing an awareness event coming up.
Interesting.
So it's really great because that's what I do is putting on events. So I get to put on an event, but for this.
Yeah.
And we're doing a lot of, I'm overseeing the humanitarian efforts too. I feel like, I don't know if we talked about this, but when you're really successful, I feel like you need to give back.
Sure.
I feel like you need to give back in general, successful or not, because it's going to come back to you. It's good energy. I believe in that when you put out there, you do get back.
Yep.
And I've experienced that my whole life. Things that I could actually pinpoint, things that I've done where I didn't expect anything in return, years later would come back to me,
Yeah.
where I'd get an opportunity, where I'd get something that if I didn't do that back then, this wouldn't have happened now.
Oh my
and
God,
and
yeah.
it's all from good things.
Yeah.
And if you do bad things are going to happen to you. It's just how it goes.
Yep.
It's a law of attraction. It really is. And so that's why I do that as much as possible. I mean, to the point where it's even a psychological thing. It's a strategic thing for me too at my parties. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of every party, once it gets a little busy enough, I have my girls go around and give candy to all the guests or mints.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of psychological reasons I do that. One, most girls are either intimidated or have unspoken animosity to half-naked girls that are working at an establishment. Mm-hmm. But once she's handing you candy, that guard goes down.
Right.
And she's smiling at you and she's
Yeah.
giving you something.
We're friends. We're allies. We're here to have a good time no matter what
Exactly.
side of the aisle you're on.
And so that brings the guard down, and it's also from a biological level, you release oxytocin when you give something to someone without expecting anything in return. That person receiving it releases oxytocin. Mm-hmm. So now in my building, in that party, in that room, there's a different level of energy in there that the next place over is not going to have unless they're doing the same exact thing.
Right.
Unless you're giving out stuff to people, not expecting anything in return.
Yep.
And we touch every single person in the building.
That's awesome.
I tell them to do the staff too.
Cool.
Every person. So now there is a different, you could argue with this with me or not, but it's fact. There's a higher level of vibration energy in that room.
Yeah. So, are you familiar with the Tony P's networking guys?
Man, you know how many times I've worked with them? Love those guys. Shout out Tony P, Greg DeKalb. They're awesome.
Man.
Yeah.
So we had Greg on recently, and then
Yes, I saw that.
His partner Tom Lavin, they launched I Am Not for Profit.
Okay.
which
Yes, I
is
saw that too. That's awesome.
Saving women being
Yeah,
trafficked. So
that's amazing.
I feel like there's some synergies there with your
Definitely.
efforts. And
I tried to go to that event they just had. Was it at Azul?
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing a lot
I couldn't
over
make
there.
it. This has always been a problem with me and Tony P events because it's from the exact time frame where I either have meetings, and it's like every Wednesday, I think it is, 6 to 9.
Yeah, something like that.
And so we go way back because he has used my venues multiple times because it's a benefit for me.
Yeah.
Because what would happen is we would open up early, and so we would get that overflow to start the party.
Totally.
So it was awesome. I love those guys.
Yeah, they're pretty slick. I mean, I met Greg through just me doing an Instagram reel, found out he's in my business fraternity, went to one of his events.
Sick.
Loved his community.
Yeah.
Joined, had him on the podcast. I mean, to your point earlier, it's like if you just do good things, so many doors open up. I mean, just doing this podcast, like I'm 13 episodes in, and now I'm talking to some of the coolest
Yeah.
people in Chicago just
Yeah.
because it's like, you know, you're putting out good content, you're having great conversations, people see the cool things that you're doing.
Yeah.
You never know what doors are going to open when you just do something.
Yeah. Put in the work. Yeah.
Take action,
Yeah.
people. Take action. If you're watching, you're listening,
Everyone.
take action every single day. It's going to pay dividends. I mean, I talk about this with some of my business fraternity folks. I joined in college, And then 10 years later, I was syndicating an apartment building and needed to raise $250,000 in money.
Wow.
How did I do that? I already had a network of people that I've been partying with, going to weddings with, studying with, working with for a decade, so that when the time came that I needed to do something, I already had it ready. So you just need to do something, show up every day.
I try to make a big move every day. That's one thing I say.
Yeah. Do good things for people, and I mean, the world is going to be your oyster. So are you loving the CMO stuff? I mean, it seems a little bit different than Nightlife.
It is, and that's why I love it. Like we talked about, loving challenge.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't know everything and the fact that I have to learn, I have to get better at it, it drives me. And I've always been a type where I love work.
Yeah.
I really do. You know, for some people, it's what I enjoy to do. And so whenever you spend so much time on something too, you just get better and better.
Yeah.
It's an investment in your future, and it pays dividends. And so I've always kind of had that mindset. But I was, like I said before, I was also partying a lot, and had a girlfriend. See, now my purpose is taking care of my mother.
Sure.
And so now, with that purpose in mind, I have to be more financially secure.
Right.
I have to. I pay all her bills now. Like I have to basically pay for two. And the older someone gets, the bills don't get cheaper. So
especially in this country with healthcare.
Yeah, most definitely. So that's my purpose.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that drives me every single day. Every single decision I make. I mean, now I'm also, I talk to her every day on the phone. I never used to do that before. I go to a movie with her every week.
Wow.
We've seen a movie every week. Maybe there's been a couple times where like we saw it on Saturday or a different day, but it's every week for almost the last 2 years.
The bar just got raised, fellas. Son of the year right here.
No, not really, because I'm married to my job right now.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a time where I do take my foot off the gas, but right now, no, it's all gas, no brakes.
I mean, you and I both know that marketing has like 15 different lanes, and for a person in your position, you have to be at least familiar with how it all plays together in the same sandbox. Paid social, paid ads, SEO, CRM, email,
grassroots,
reviews. I mean, we can go on. And luckily, I've had the opportunity to dabble in a lot of those, where when I was doing small business consulting, I can at least guide the business owners to what to not do and then what you should do based on their scenarios.
Yeah. And every industry is different.
Every industry is different. Yeah. Every entrepreneur is different because everyone has different goals. But what they consume from the internet and just think, oh, I should just pump in money on Google ads. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
You don't need to go broke. Let's think about this for a second.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have a handful of obstacles, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
because you're in a
SEO,
trades industry, and that's competitive.
Yeah, SEO. I mean, right now, billboards. There's all different lawn signs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different facets of it. So you really just have to see what works for you, because every business is different, and it's trial and error. And luckily, we've been in the business for 17 years, so we've tried a lot. We've done a lot. And they've benefited. So now you get to see what really works more, and you could put more money into that.
Yeah.
Instead of like you did in earlier days when you're just kind of trying different things. So I really do love that. But I think, like I said, at the end of the day, for me, the humanitarian efforts that we're doing, like I even started doing this because I have my mental health Mondays for myself on my social media. I started something called Monday Merits for Aloha, where we're basically featuring every Monday a different foundation, charity, anyone that's doing good deeds, and just putting it out there, because I've just found from myself putting it out there on my own personal platform, the number one, how good it feels for me, the other people that it affects. I every day I'm getting messages or people coming up to me telling me how much they appreciate the message I'm spreading, the positivity, and from a mental health perspective, people that I've helped, like people, it's really powerful. And when multiple people have told me, like, I'm alive because of you.
Wow.
That's insane. Like I almost fucking got a little teared up for just saying that. But it's crazy. And so I can't believe it myself, because sometimes, like we were talking about before, to feel like you're not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that I am there. And obviously I'm not as with some other people that are professionally trained and educated and that have been doing it for an actual job for a long time, but I'm making an impact. And so if I impact one person, that's insane.
I remember a couple years ago when I decided that I was going to start making content. Like, it's like, oh, you're so courageous to like have an opinion on video and have it put out into the internet because it's forever. And like,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like
I don't think about it like that.
It doesn't seem like a big deal,
Yeah.
even though like everyone's afraid to like, oh, I don't want to
That's having
be
a
out
fear.
there and have
Yeah,
people
yeah.
like say bad things about me and stuff. But I get that. But I think the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to building a personal brand and
1000%.
spreading a message. Even today, I was talking to a couple friends. I had posted about one of the VA disability claims I was filing for, and it got denied. And I just kind of threw it out there, like, "Hey, anybody got a good lawyer? Like, I want, I'd like to fight this because I think there's a case."
Yeah.
I got so many messages from people that I barely know
That's awesome.
or even interact with, just wanting to help. And I
Yeah.
thought it was so refreshing to see, how many people are out there just lurking, consuming your content day in and day out, but they're not liking, they're not commenting, they're not subscribing, but they're consuming, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
You're
with
programming them.
That's the thing with social media is that people are always watching. And then
Yeah.
to see these people come out of the woodwork and want to help
Yeah.
out of the goodness of their hearts for no other reason than to just help somebody.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I needed this. Like, even if the government doesn't give me a penny more,
Yeah.
people are out there caring
For
about
sure.
you. And it's like, I wouldn't have gotten that if I wasn't building this brand and doing the content.
If you didn't put yourself out there, drop ego.
Right.
Yeah.
It's this social media thing is such a wild experiment, but I am so glad that I jumped in. And
Yeah, me too.
to your point,
It's work. It's definitely it's mental health too.
Yeah.
It does. I've gotten some times where I get anxiety or just it's hard to deal with sometimes.
Yeah.
From something as little as like I gotta get this post out.
And it'll take you 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But you're like,
And you're
the
doing
font or this or
Yeah,
that.
making sure it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's definitely it has an effect on your mental health. And I think at the end of the day, you just like I said before, you have to say the right things to yourself. So I have to
100%.
tell myself sometimes, like Eric, just post it.
Yeah.
Just post it.
Rip it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your new podcast, and then we'll get into kind of the fun final questions I got
Yeah.
for you. But you just recently launched a podcast as well, right?
Yes. How'd You Get Here podcast? It's amazing. My co-host, shout out Sarah Fragus. She's the CEO of Filterless Era. And it's just great starting a podcast with her because our chemistry is great.
Yeah.
She's very bubbly. She's very pretty. She's fun. And people gravitate towards that. And she's a successful mother of two also, multi-million-dollar business.
Wow.
So it's inspiration to anyone. And so I learn things from her all the time. And we work really well together. And because she's got over, I would say 1 million followers across multiple platforms. She, and I have so little compared to her, but I'm known in the Chicago industry,
Yeah.
right? We're able to get some of these great guests. So John Sarasani, I'm sure you know
Yeah.
who he is. Pearl Gonzalez, UFC host and former fighter. And what I found also that with interviewing these people, they're a different dynamic, right?
For sure.
Because once you get to a certain level in today's day and age, it's actually kind of sad, but it's just how society is.
Yeah.
You're idolized. And with that idolization, that person as an individual, you go through a lot of different things that other people don't.
Yeah.
And so, like we talked about, those hard times make them really strong.
Yeah.
And so Pro Gonzalez, I'm getting chills right now. She blew my mind away.
Really?
Like just the mental game, the wisdom that she has. And it's just amazing that now I used to be afraid about doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And so now I find myself, it's something I'm passionate about. I want to do nothing but that. I'm here today because I know it's going to make me better.
Yeah.
I know it's going to grow me in multiple ways. And I feel like everyone, you should get into things that you can learn and grow as a person.
Yeah.
Whether it's just looking at videos on YouTube by yourself, watching podcasts like this, because it's going to, like you said, open up opportunities for you. You're going to grow. Whereas people could do whatever they want for entertainment, but like watching Love Island, that's not going to do anything for you. And I get some people, I have my work's entertainment.
Right.
That's entertainment for you.
Yeah.
But what else are you doing outside of that? You have to be continuing to better yourself, because when you do that, everything in your life is going to be better.
Yeah.
And there's no complacency. It's cliche, but complacency is a killer.
Yep. We
And
say that in the military. It's true.
you may not, maybe you don't have aspirations or goals for anything else, but you should. And if you did, you'd have more thrill in life.
Yeah.
So you should try to find it.
Yeah, I want this message to go out to the young cats that are, just coming out of college or whatever. Have fun in your young 20s, consume the content, go party, make the money or whatever.
Yeah.
But have something on the side. Do something for somebody else, whether it's a charity or an organization,
bigger than
or
yourself.
just like, I don't know, a local business that needs a little help. I mean, again, it's going to open up the doors. It's going to make your life a little more fulfilling. Going to add a little more oomph to who you are as a person.
And from a biological level, you're going to feel better too.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's only pros to doing this stuff.
It's just putting in work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll tag your podcast in the notes, get you guys a bunch of more subscribers.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see the next guest. Last couple of questions here before we wrap up. What are some of your favorite Chicago restaurants or bars?
Wow. I think bars, I mean, I have to say Spy Bar. Spy Bar, I've been going to Spy Bar since I'd say maybe 2005, maybe even before that. So definitely Spy Bar. Used to be a really big house head, but because I only throw a hip hop party now, I've grown to like hip hop. So it's actually funny. But once I do go to those environments, I love them. But definitely Spy Bar. And I mean, Prism is going to be one of the ones that they're always going to treat me like family there. It's nice now that's one great thing about being in industry for so long. I get treated very well everywhere. Yeah. And I'm very, very appreciative about it and grateful for it. As far as restaurants, I love Alinea. I love Bavette's is really good. Man, honestly, the first thing that comes to my head right now, Portillo's.
Yeah,
I love Portillo's.
Chicagoan.
Yeah. But when you say restaurants, I was thinking like you meant like nice ones, but Portillo's is, I have call it my death row meal. Yeah. Yeah, where it's basically a dipped beef, hot, with mozzarella cheese on it, large cheese fry, large Diet Coke, piece of chocolate cake, and a strawberry shortcake.
Yes. And Portillo's, there are sponsorship opportunities here at the podcast, so reach out.
But food's poison at the end of the day. I try not to eat it all the time, that's for sure.
It's tough because, I mean, the older we get, it's like, all right, you really got to be conscious of this stuff.
Yeah, you have to.
Nutrients.
Like you said, older you get though. And when you're young, but older you get, you definitely have to. You start thinking about it. And if you don't, you're not going to feel better. You're not going to feel good. You're not going to live long.
So the goal is in your 20s to build a life that's worth living. Yeah. And then when you're in 30s and 40s, maintain yourself so that you can keep doing that as long as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So do you have anyone that you'd love to see as a future guest on the Scorpion Nest podcast?
You know what? When I saw that question, honestly, we just had Jimmy Sotos on. You know who Jimmy Sotos is?
No.
He is a former Ohio State basketball player. Yeah. I said that wrong. And he's huge on TikTok. He's 1.5 million. And he's just an amazing personality.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think you found, and I found this after doing 4 or 5 podcasts where I'm the interviewer now. Mm-hmm. If you have someone that's really energetic, really fun, it makes it way funner, more fun and easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, we'll
shout out Jimmy.
Yeah, we'll connect with Jimmy after this. So for the folks that want to find out more about you, follow your Mental Health Mondays, and maybe attend one of your famous parties, where can they find you?
Eric Boss Chicago on Instagram.
Okay. Are you a single platform guy, or are you like everywhere?
I mean, I'm trying to grow everything else. If you want, you could go to my TikTok. It's the same thing on all of them, but Instagram is really the one that I'm on the most. And How'd You Get Here podcast on YouTube is the really one I'm really trying to grow right now.
Hell yeah. So we'll like and subscribe that. And
Chicago Podcast Studio too.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Eric, can't say this enough, but thanks for coming on the show. I think we had a great convo.
Awesome.
Looking forward to see you around
I want to do it again, honestly.
The Chicagoland area.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.